Welcome, 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 welcome. I just want to tell y'all thank you. Whether it be your first time, your last time, thank you for taking this time to be here with me. I am AP. I'm your host, and this is Time Out and Tangents. Thank you for being here on this lovely Saturday evening. Well, afternoon, whatever time of the day you want to claim it to be. I wanted to come on here real quick because there's a lot of scuttle going on, a lot of fuss taking place about this lawsuit that's been filed against LSU. Um, Saints in the free agency is kicking up. Will Wade and LSU men's basketball is starting to get some smoke behind it. There's just a lot that's been going on within the last couple hours, last few days, and I wanted to kind of get some stuff off my chest going into the week, to the rest of the weekend, and early in the next week, and especially leading into tomorrow night with Paul Skeens for the World Baseball Classic. Like, I just want to give those things their attention before all this other stuff that's going on kind of settles down. I want to start off by saying this. There are going to be a lot of people who can do exactly what I do. They're going to get a camera, and get a mic, get a light, and turn it on. And they're going to talk about how they're fans of LSU, how they're fans of the Saints. And we got to be careful of who we're giving our ears to. Because how can we sit up here and take opinions and listen to analysis from people who haven't even flicked a booger on LSU's campus, who haven't even threw gum on the ground at the dome? You mean to tell me you can't talk to the intensity of feeling third down pressure in Tiger Stadium? You mean to tell me you don't know what it feels like to have a full count in the eighth inning at the box? You mean to tell me you don't know what that walk down Gravia Street after a loss from the dome feels like? But you want to tell me why this team is so important to you. You want to tell me why your opinion matters when you can't take the time to invest in coming to see it in person? Nah, nah. That don't mean anything. That holds no weight because what you love, you invest in. What you care about, you put your money where your mouth is. You reap what you sow. And if you put your time and energy into something as much as you claim that you love it, you're going to want to be there physically to see it for yourself. imagine imagine dating somebody. She lives in Mobile, Cali, Texas, New York. He lives in Florida, Washington State, wherever. Imagine you dating this individual and all you can do is talk on the phone. But y'all in this committed relationship. How committed is it if you're not taking the time to be in that person's presence? How truly invested are you if you're not making the effort to know what it feels like to breathe the same air as that individual. That's what it's like when you're supporting a team. Like, I love football, I love basketball, I love baseball, but I'm not gonna ever claim to be a diehard fan of an organization that I haven't put my money behind, that I haven't put my time behind, that I haven't been physically in the building for any game. Not just big games, but any game at all. Look, breaking news, I like the Lakers. Grew up as a Laker fan, especially before we had our own team here in New Orleans. But I'm not going to sit up here and claim I'm a diehard fan, and I've been to more Pelicans games than times I've actually been to California. I know friends who are diehard Laker fans who live in New Orleans and they travel to LA, who've been in the Forum and in Staples Center. They've invested their time. They've invested their money. So I can't say I'm on equal footing with them, but I can't say I'm a diehard Pelicans fan because I've had season tickets. I've walked to games. I've sat there and experienced some of the craziest blowouts and some of the wildest wins. Follow the team. And I'm not just a casual who shows up every once in a blue moon just because it's $5 tickets or they're giving away a cushy hat. Be careful who you are giving your ears to when it comes to following the teams that you love. Because when people can't speak about personal experiences that they have in supporting these teams, they're no bigger fan than you. You have a better opinion than they do because you've actually experienced something that they wish they could. You can paint a better picture of what it feels like to be in Death Valley than what they could. And this isn't just about no one individual. This is about a group of people who will break into this space. And it's just me, like letting you know about the authenticity of individuals. What up, Paul? Thank you for joining the chat, man. Appreciate you being here, brother. It's just me talking about the authenticity of people. Keep that in mind. If you can actually stay focused and paint a picture as to what it feels like to be in a place supporting a team, the pressure that has as a fan, but someone behind this camera and this microphone can't walk you through that experience, and how do they know what it really feels like when they let you down? How do they know how much that feels to long to be in Tiger Stadium when Mason Taylor walks off Alabama? It feels different when you've actually been there. It feels different. You need to make sure that you are checking the people that you are listening to. Paul's right there. Tell them to keep that same energy. A lot of baseball guys saying they couldn't watch the game last night. Anybody saying that about that game last night is absolutely ridiculous. Because the game last night was amazing. You can have good losses. You're not going to win every game. But a lot of those baseball guys haven't even sat in the box. They don't even know that they have national championship flags hanging out outside the gate to get in. The closest thing that they get to the box is when they turn on the stream on SEC Network Plus. We can't validate or credential every individual that starts a podcast, but we can have a relationship. And if there's one standard, one minimum standard, it's just, hey, have you at least been to this place? Do you know what it's like inside that building? What does it feel like leaving there with a loss? How great was it when they won? Do you know the experience of making legitimate friends over the course of a season? Because y'all share that same bond and commonality of cheering for a team and investing your time, taking the time to drive, park, walk, go in, be in that cathedral for those 3.5 hours. Not just watching and spectating, but living on every moment, hoping for a win. Be careful who you giving your attention to. Everybody can't relate. Everybody can't speak to those same experiences. And that's why there's a little bit of a disassociation when it comes to the fan base and how some of the media cover the team. Because there are actual people in this fan base who've gone to LSU, graduated from there, sacrificed, invested their time, money, energy, and effort, and appreciate the things that LSU has been able to provide for them. They're actual people who've been in the dome, who had to survive in the dome after Katrina. That was their home for weeks, who've lost family members in those areas. So this is just a little bit different for me. And once again, this is just my personal opinion. And I want y'all to understand it's going to be a lot of people because it's a hot brand. The Saints on their way back up. LSU is definitely the hottest brand across the nation right now, making the most noise. And you know when you got the brightest light on you, you're going to have a lot of heat come your way. And the heat is coming. And unfortunately, it looks like it's coming from the inside. You saw the thumbnail, Law and Order LSU. Why would an LSU alum sue the school for a records request demanding to see what players are getting paid based off of rev share agreements? And it's the one thing I can't wrap my head around because two things can be true. Their stance is that once revenue generated outside of school comes into the school, it then turns itself into public money because it's a public institution. Okay, I understand that. But you can't frame it in a way that it's public money because it's not public money. It's the public institution's money. And it's why that the agreement that the student athletes have, and I want to make sure I'm using that term properly, the student athletes have should be private because they're students. And the money that they're being paid is being generated from something that me, as a tax-paying citizen of this great state, is not contributing to. Hell, if it wasn't for them, LSU wouldn't be able to pay the bills. The athletic department, specifically the football program, gives money back to the school. So suing the school to obtain information is risky business on multiple levels. One, you're trying to say that you deserve to know that what these students are being paid because they're paid by the school. Well, they're not employees of the school. Sorry. If you want them to be considered employees, then they're going to have to start getting benefits. And then at that point, I will say wholeheartedly, I want to know their salaries. Nobody's pressing to know the full contract details of Lane Kiffin, the highest paid employee on the campus. But you want to know what the students are making. Make that make sense for me. You wouldn't ask to know what a student's refund check is, what they're receiving from their Pell Grant. That's public money. You're not asking for that information. So why is this so much of a concern? I saw somebody posting on Twitter saying, "Oh well, what if a player is a son or daughter of a sheriff and they're just getting 150K just because they're that person's daughter or son?" Okay, they're on a team, aren't they? The revenue share agreement is an agreement where a portion is split amongst the team, and I'm pretty sure the team decides who gets what amount of money for what reason. I'm pretty sure Brian Kelly's son didn't have to pay to come to LSU. Was there a record request for that information? All of this is bad with no benefit to it. Because, okay, let's say they win the lawsuit. It exposes these players, which we already know have an idea as to how much they're making. The roster's being paid $40 million. They're getting 20 million of that from the revenue share agreement. The other 20 million is coming in from outside private businesses, even though it's going directly to players at a public institution. Funny how things work. So we know that a portion of this, which probably isn't the biggest portion, is coming from the rev share agreement. Great. So now you're going to expose these players how much they're making based off of the revenue share portion of their deals from the school, and then what if their information then makes them a target for harassment, robberies, putting their lives in danger? I mean, we already know that they're millionaires, but they're also still students. You can't have it both ways. You can't say that you want them to be treated like students without giving, but you want them to still be students, but want them to be treated as employees. Well, if they're you got to choose one. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Another reason why this is bad is you are burning bridges to the ones that are filing this lawsuit. You're burning bridges with the university that, one, gave you a foundation. You knew for a fact that there are other public institutions within the state that you could have filed a lawsuit for who have opted into the revenue share agreement. But instead, you chose LSU because it is the biggest brand within the state and it's the hottest brand within the country. It's going to give you attention. What does that attention do for you? It's a self-serving mission. And it's a terrible mission for you to be on. Well, Paul, you're right. They don't care about the athletes. It's absolutely clear. It's a self-serving mission. You are doing this for the benefit of one person. Because while you're saying, oh, the public gets to benefit because they have a right to know, the public doesn't care. If the You know what the public cared about? Having the right head coach, not getting their teeth kicked in against Texas A&M, making sure the baseball team can continue to win at the level that they are, finding a way to make the basketball program relevant again, getting the new arena built. The public has come to terms with the fact that players need to be compensated. And if they weren't comfortable with that, they wouldn't have been donating the way that they were donating in droves. Your head coach did $1 million match last year. He took $1 million of his own salary, donated it to a collective, and encouraged fans to match him. So why? He can go out and sign players. Did anybody care to expose that then? No. This is bad. It's a bad look. But you don't care about it being a bad look. Because at the end of the day, you're getting looks. Your name is associated with it. And that's really what you want. Small town reporter at a small time paper covering small town business. How do you make a name for yourself? Take a shot at the king. Why not go after any of the other schools? Because that wouldn't have made as much noise as this would. It's bad. David, my guy, thank you for joining in, brother. Paul asks, has any of the court filings been made public yet? I would love to read their argument for filing the suit. I haven't seen any of that come out yet. He also said, I read what she said to Zach, but I want to read the official court filing. The court filing should also name all involved. I want to know. I want to see that too, Paul. I want to see who all is involved with this, because the rumors that are floating around, the accusations of people who could potentially be involved, is pretty damning too. And I'm not going to be someone that sits up here and says that X, Y, and Z are involved in things. And once again, I'm just speculating. I don't know anything. I'm just sitting up here looking at this from my perspective, trying to make sense of it. Because from my understanding is that there's nothing for you to gain. And then you have to question, because this isn't the Advocate, the biggest paper in the state. This isn't NOLA.com. This isn't WAFB in Baton Rouge. This isn't WVUE. This isn't 1045 ESPN. This isn't Guarantee Media Group. It's not these big, huge publications going after this. It's Tiger Rag, Glenn Gilbo, Piper Hutchinson. Someone nobody knew about until Lane Kiffin started sniffing around to become the coach. And she was trying to meddle in that too. Relative unknown who graduated LSU in 2022. None of this makes sense. And at this paper, who's paying for this? Paul says the public cares. 75% of the rev share should go to Jay Johnson and LSU. Defund men's basketball and football can be self-sustaining. I'm kidding about the 75% rev share, by the way. 100% for baseball. Paul, I'm sorry. Baseball will never get 100% because it loses money. Football pays for everything. I don't understand it, man. I just I just don't get it. And I know we'll probably never know who's funding this lawsuit from their end because it's not cheap. Lawsuits cost money. Attorneys want to eat and pay for expensive things. So I can't make heads or tails of why this lawsuit would even be a thing and what they truly stand to gain from it. But that's the smoke that y'all want. So the fire that comes behind that smoke is going to be all for you. And I can't wait till stuff starts coming out about who's involved and potentially where the money is coming from because there's a money trail that shows everything. Paul said if Gilbo doesn't care about privacy, maybe he shouldn't be able to block everyone on X. And he doesn't care about privacy. He cares about his feelings because he's soft. If individuals are connected to the lawsuit that are suspected, they should be banned from LSU. Yes, they should. The credentials should be taken away from covering every aspect of LSU, even Glee Club, chess, academic debates, all of it. Don't let them around anything. And I'm not saying that LSU should never be criticized or critiqued. I'm not saying that at all. Critique when warranted. But why is this important? And look, there are people on the other side that are saying that, yeah, we should be able to know how much a player is making. Okay, why? Just tell me why. Why do you care? Why do you care what the left tackle is making and the punter is making? How often are you going to go look at that? Because I can tell you right now, you don't know the details of NFL contracts. You see a number that they throw out, and that's all for sensationalism. Bruh, I saw that video. David said, a whole lot of sauces tweet out a video of a Yale leader at A&M's baseball game looking goofy as can be. I saw that video, and he captioned it the right way. Paul said, truly, I'm a fan of investigative journalism. There's a laundry list of detrimental policies and leaders within this state to investigate. Why does this tickle your fancy, Piper? Because this is the one where she can really make a name for herself. And don't think that she doesn't have a team around her helping her navigate through this storm that she's created. Because she does. That's why there are a few people jumping to her side that work at that same publication, the Louisiana Illuminator, reposting and making erroneous comments. No, you're right, David. He did. I know you didn't want to say it. I'm not going to say it either, but he captioned it the perfect way. Like if you want to see it, go see it. Like it's correct in every way. It's as goober can get. But I don't understand it, and I wanted to just kind of like get that off my chest because I've been sitting up here wrestling with this since the lawsuit was announced, and I saw Piper do a show at Lon, and then I watched her do the show with Blake, and then I saw that interaction she had with Zach on X, and he walked her into a corner, and she could not get out. So the only thing she had to do was just bow out and leave. And it shows like, and it shows that she's just not. This isn't all from her alone. This isn't all from her alone. There's something else going on here, and we may not ever know why. And I think it's all just being hidden under the umbrella of public information for knowing where the players are making. I think that's it. But something else is motivating this. David said, "Oh, y'all talking about my guy Zach's new pet named Piper?" Yes, because he definitely owned her and put her in a box. And Paul says she's going to make a name for being exercise from college sports. I can promise. She doesn't want to cover college athletics. She would rather about neutral bathrooms. She would rather write about budgets and numbers, and she. I don't think she wants to cover college athletics, but she's trying to use LSU to expose something. And I think that there's got to be money. David says it right there. Her bank accounts need to be checked. There's got to be money coming from somewhere to motivate her to do this. And where did she come from? Like, she has no social media presence at all. The only thing that you can figure out is that she graduated from LSU in 2022. What high school did she go to? Is she from Louisiana? Like, and I'm not trying to dox her personally, but there must be some type of ulterior motive to make you want to come at your alma mater the way that she's gunning for LSU. And Paul said, but this is a similar move to a certain underrated choice made by others. This will just take longer to flush out. She will move to Portland. Yes. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely insane. And I hope, and Paul says she is from Louisiana. Well, what part? Is she from off the border of Arkansas, from off the border of Texas, or from off the border of Mississippi? She must be from a border. She gotta be. Closely affiliated with something. Because it feels like the way she's moving, LSU was her second choice. And them out of state fees to whatever school she wanted to go to is just a little bit too high. I'm not sure. It just I can't make heads or tails of it. I can't make it make sense. I don't get it. I don't get it. But this will affect LSU in other ways. But hopefully it doesn't do so the in the realm of trying to get another basketball coach. Because look, things are aligning to make a run at Will Wade, but it doesn't necessarily have to be this year either. You got the AD at McNeese who's being asked about taking a job at LSU. Notice LSU has not filled its associate athletic director position. I'm pretty sure that with Wade Roos coming in, he was probably going to try to make Heath Schuler the athletic director, but Verge did his big thing and pulled in Lane Kiffin and cemented himself as being the guy. And the AD at McNeese is getting questions asked of him about taking on a role at LSU. And he's not really denying, he's not shutting it down hard. He's kind of placating around it. And even Will Wade, like, he's not denying it either. He was asked about it the other day, and his response was, "Well, is the job at LSU open?" Which it's not. It's the right answer. It's not open. But he's also not saying I'm not leaving North Carolina State. So there's a slight crack in that door. So don't be surprised if they make a hard run. But also don't be surprised if they don't. Because it does make a lot of sense to wait another year. I hate that. And I'm not gonna say it makes a lot of sense, but it makes sense to wait another year too. I can see both sides of the argument after talking to a few people. I wouldn't want it. But with all this smoke around this lawsuit, the list of demands that Will Wade will absolutely want and he would deserve to have You give them a year to kind of settle in and let things kind of blow over a little bit, then, you know, then it's up from there. David said in the chat, going back to Piper, every single time she's been asked to logically explain why what each player makes needs to be publicized, she goes completely silent. Yeah, she can't do it because there's no reason to do it. There is no reason to do it at all. Look, I don't I don't get it. Don't get it at all. But there are some weird things happening around that. Some strange things taking place, just within the community. Like I said, people are gonna jump in here and pose hard as fans, but the whole time they're really here to tear it down. Like Lane Kiffin says, let them try. This brand has withstood a lot, and for the Saints too. Well, most of the Saints issues have been, you know, getting into their own way. But what they've done this past week in free agency has been exciting. And they have a lot of young guys that actually want to come play here now too, so that's exciting as well. Look, I just had to get that off my chest before tonight's game, and I didn't want to keep y'all long. Not gonna go live tonight. Hanging out with my son, celebrating his birthday with the family, and then tomorrow, church. So, no, Paul, that's such a good point. Paul said, "Don't you find it funny? Gilbo was at a SNAP benefits press conference to be Landry's puppet, just to be there to bring up a football question, and now he's suing LSU." And I don't know if that. And Paul says, "I guess Gilbo's relationship with the governor hasn't been as fruitful as he believed. I can't say that it's related, but it sure does connect dots." I don't want to say it connects dots, but it's putting some dots in place. And maybe that press conference was where things started taking a turn. I don't know. All of this seems so strange. All of this seems so strange. But we're gonna keep rolling. Tigers get the dub tonight against Vandy. Going with it. Derek Curell hits the home run. Me and my wife are doubling down again, trying to retain our crowns. And then, we're just going to have a great weekend. Weather's absolutely amazing. St. Patrick's Day parades are rolling all over the place. So just go have fun. Go have fun. Don't let the noise distract you from how great we have it right now in the boot, man. And like I said, be careful who you give your ear to. A lot of people out here that are going to say that they're fans but don't want to give their time and energy and money to contributing. They will wear the gear, but they can't tell you what it feels like to be in Tiger Stadium. They can't tell you what it feels like to be inside that dome. And that should mean something. Because I personally couldn't feel right sitting on here talking about something and I've never been there to experience it. How can I tell you what a Popeye's chicken sandwich tastes like if I never bit it before? And one other thing to think about. I made this analogy the other day. This lawsuit with RevShare feels like this to me. She's saying that it's public funds, but the revenue is generated outside of tax collection, tax contributions from the state. If that's the case, it's like having a roommate and saying that you deserve to know where they're spending their money because y'all say y'all share a roof. That don't make sense. Love you too, Dave, man. Talk to you in a minute. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. But look, we just gonna keep chopping wood. We're gonna support the Tigers. We're gonna support the Saints. Who that go Tigers all day long, man. And like I said, I just want to get that off my chest. So let's go watch the game. Let's go have fun. Enjoy this beautiful weather. And I'll see y'all when I see y'all.